Al-Qaeda-linked rebels have attacked a Christian village in Syria, home to one of the world's oldest monasteries. The army has secured much of the township, but residents say radical opposition fighters have seized nearby hills and are firing indiscriminately at the community. Our correspondent in Damascus, Maria Finoshna, reports.
We tried to get to Ma'alula village shortly after we heard that the clashes erupted there. It's just 1 hour drive from Damascus, north of the capital. But we were stopped by the army and warned that it could be a one-way ticket because, first of all, the road from Damascus to Ma'alula is not safe. But even if we are lucky enough to get to the village, the clashes still continue there, and there are still some snipers who are active on the ground. So the situation is very dangerous. So it's better not to go there, as we were told. We are hearing that the fighting is between the army and the militants, mostly from Jabhat al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda affiliated group fighting here in Syria against the regime of Bashar al-Assad, but mostly for their own radical Islam state. It's believed to be the best armed, the most successful, and at the same time the most aggressive opposition force here in Syria, and it's listed as a terrorist organization by the UN, US, and some other members of the international community. And we can see that the tactics were also very similar to those that terrorists all around the world use. We know that early on Wednesday, a suicide bomber struck a checkpoint at the entrance of Ma'alula village. And after a car exploded at the checkpoint, the militants of Jabhat. And we have online video, and I hope you can see it right now, showing rebels entering the city, and residents have been telling media that the same day the militants managed to take over a mountaintop Safir hotel, and they've been firing from that strategic point. What we know is that Ma'alula village is a very special place, not only speaking in terms of Syrian reality, but internationally speaking, it is home to an Orthodox shrine, a 4th century Catholic church, and dozens of mosques. So its religious heritage is very solid, and it was protected by the government, and it was what we saw during this crisis, respected by the rebels. But after this recent attack, of course, the whole Christian community, not only here in Syria, but all over the world, was shaken. And let's now listen to one non-RT managed to speak from Latakia, what she says about the situation and about the fears of the Christian minority here in Syria.
How can the international community ignore the brutal killing spree in Latakia early on August the 5th, an attack that affected 500 people, including children, women and older people? In the village of Ostreba, they massacred all the residents and burned down their houses. In another village, almost all of the 37 locals were killed. Only 10 people were able to escape. 12 Alawite villages were subjected to this horrendous attack. It was a true slaughterhouse. People were mutilated and beheaded. There is even a video that shows a girl being dismembered alive with a soul.
Well, it's worth to mention that Ma'alula has very troubled neighbors. Another village of Yabrud, center of smuggling here in Syria, is just 20 minutes drive from Ma'alula. Homs, the city known as the epicenter of the clashes, 100 kilometers away from Ma'alula. But we are hearing from some Free Syrian Army members from some opposition members that the idea of attacking this village was to clear the road from the city of Homs in central Syria to Damascus, because this village was the only one not touched by the rebels. But these are just rumors. It's very hard to confirm.